Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and it must be Coaches Creating Change,
and
this
I'm
is
Terry
Yoffe.
and here we are again.
Again.
Oh, wow. Lovely to be here.
Fantastic. And Terry was saying, let's review all the things that we've gone over this year.
Right.
And it's like it's a 3/4 point for the
I
year.
know.
We've
Amazing.
only got 3 more
Episodes?
Yeah, well, 3 more episodes that are going to be
episodes after
actually
this.
2 more.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That are going to be dealing with the core competencies.
ICF core competencies.
So where have we been here? What have we been doing?
What have we been doing?
Yeah.
So this has been, from my perspective, quite a journey. I think I have learned so much on really digging into these core competencies.
Yeah.
And if you're a ICF coach, and if you're a coach in general, I think really living by these competencies puts you at a level of really trust from my perspective. And so when we look at them, there were 5 headings. The first one, of course, was setting the foundation,
Right.
which is all about the ethical guidelines, the professional standards, and then, of course, establishing the coaching agreement with the client. And then you go to the second heading, which is co-creating the relationship, which is the second level of really establishing trust and intimacy, which we've talked about on many occasions.
Yes. We're debating still which one is the most important.
Exactly.
I think we're starting to realize they're all important.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
And then coaching presence, how you show up, how you interact. And then we come to the third level, which is, or the third block, which is communicating effectively, active listening, powerful questioning, direct communication. Again, all important in how we're building each stage and each one of these for the client. The next is where we're at now, which is facilitating learning and results. So based on everything, creating awareness for the client, helping them integrate everything they've done so they start to gain awareness of where they are, what they've agreed upon, and where they want to go and the results they're looking to get. Again, that was our last one, which was number 8. Number 9 is our designing actions, which we will be talking about today. And the definition of that one is creating with the client opportunities for ongoing learning during coaching and in work-life situations, and for taking new actions that will most effectively lead to agreed upon coaching results.
And let me just say that we started this whole thing with the journey card from Points of View.
Right.
And it has been such a fun journey. And what's made it fun is you can self-study, absolutely, and you can, self-awareness is great. But what's made it fun is bouncing ideas off you and getting ideas from you, and me giving you some ideas, and hopefully giving you guys some ideas too. But I would say invite people on your journey, because that's kind of what we did in the beginning, and we're going to see what our next journey is. But right now we're going to finish this one. We've got it timed for the end of 2018.
Right.
And like Terry said, we're going to go with the first one is just designing. Designing actions. Yeah. And we figured the Points of View card that would work the best would be results, because that's where we are now. We've gone through all the coaching, like Terry said, and we've established the agreement, and we've created a rapport, and we've asked some powerful questions, and we've created awareness. And it's like, okay, now what you gonna do? And that's kind of where we are now. And this is the this is the culmination of everything that you put into the session or that you put into your relationship or your job or whatever you're doing. It's like, okay, and it doesn't end here, but it takes you to the next step.
Right.
So.
Right. We're not going to talk about the next one until we get there.
No.
But or the next two, excuse me. But this is about designing actions.
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
To me it means, okay, you've kind of been given a whole different bunch of an opportunity to view things in a different perspective. It's like, and now that you have that knowledge and that self-awareness, it's like, where do you want to go from here? What's your next step kind of like? It's where, based on all the information that you've obtained and that you've given out, it's like, where is it that you want to go? So I think it would be the preliminary to setting a goal. That it's like, okay, first, as Stephen Covey says, have the end in mind. Begin at the end and see where you want to go. But this is kind of like, okay, what actions do I want to take first of all, and then how can I make that into a goal, which will be the next session. But right now, it's like, where are we going with all this? What are we doing with all this information?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things I learned through CTI, and they talk about, is deepening the learning and forwarding the action.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So this is where you're forwarding the action.
Okay.
Not that all along they haven't been taking action, because I don't want it to mislead anyone into think that nothing's happened and now all of a sudden, wow,
suddenly,
at this point they're taking actions.
Yeah.
They've been taking actions, hopefully, all along. There's been what I call field work, homework, investigative work, so that after each session, depending on what comes out of the session, it's up to the coach and the client to agree, or even up to the client to come and say, gee, based on what we've done, I would like to take whatever it is to help, again, deepen the learning of what they're learning and forwarding the action of where they want to go.
And it may be, and I find this happens an awful lot of times, it may be that you start out with the goal of, I want to ace this test and I want to be the best person in the whole class to get the great ideas. And then as you start learning about yourself and about what's blocking you, it's like, what I really want to do, I want to unblock all these preconceived notions that I have that, I have to be perfect, and move forward. It could be you change your goal, and this is the time for reflection, and also the time for, it's like, okay, putting it all together.
Right.
And thinking, okay, where is it what am I going to do with this information?
Right.
What quotes do you have? Terry always has quotes.
I'll do one which I love, which was from Dennis Weaver, who was an actor.
Yeah.
To achieve the result you want, stop doing what doesn't work. And I love that one. What else could you say? And to have it be put so succinctly, you want to get to where you want to go, stop doing what isn't getting you there.
Exactly.
Isn't
that's close to the definition of insanity,
Right,
doing
exactly,
the same thing over and over and
exactly.
expecting something different to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that, because it's like, it's kind of like, okay, creating it, and sometimes it's always been that way. Your mother told you it's that way. Your teachers told you it's got to be this way. And sometimes it's just stopping and going, you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. I'm going to try it this way. And also I think part of the coaching process is giving you the courage to say that, giving you the courage to go, okay, this is the way I've always done it. I'm really not happy. How many people work in their jobs for years and years and years and then turn around and go, so I did. Is that all there is?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And this comes to where somebody feels they have the courage to say, oh gosh, I've done it this way. And that comes back to establishing trust and intimacy.
Oh, that's her favorite. That's her favorite.
Not one of them, but this is the place where a coach has created that safe environment for a client to step, I love a lot of what Brené Brown does. Really, she's amazing, and if you haven't read any of her books, they're great. The one that Daring Greatly is one.
Yeah.
She's got a new one out, but it's being able to be vulnerable. And, when you've done something for so long, and you've already got a story about why you're doing it, like you were in the world, and I'm sure you had your story.
Right.
Mine was, I make a lot of money, and, I have the golden handcuffs. I'm going to just
That's what
soldier
everybody's
on.
doing, yeah.
But that's a story. And to have somebody, client, be willing to dismantle that story and to pretty much, I use this term, stand naked in a thought process and to say, okay, I did this, but you know what? To undress that thinking
to peel
process.
the onion, to kind of like peel the onion,
It takes courage and somebody being willing to be vulnerable and say, this isn't working. I don't know where I'm going from here.
I'm going to piggyback on a point that you made because I think it's great. Establishing trust and intimacy, definitely important, and the coach does create that environment. But it's also, you create the environment where the client can trust themselves. It's like, wow, you know what? I'm here, no matter what I've been through, I survived. And making them realize that, that maybe you can stand alone, answer your own drummer, whatever expression you want to use.
So, yes, I mean, obviously, it's trusting themselves, but maybe part of being able to start to trust yourself is the reflection of the coach who's, who has opened the space for one of trust on both ends, not just the coach, but, it's that space of trust where there are no judgments and we're not a parental figure where we're going to go, you didn't do that, or shame on you. That's not our discipline or our goal. It's just making clients aware. And what I love to say is holding that mirror up. As challenging as it is for the coach, it's not easy to stand there or to sit there or however it is.
What are you doing?
And to keep challenging the client's story, because it doesn't make sense.
Right, and yet you have to, it's their story, so you have to respect that.
Of course.
But you have to create that opening, just a tiny little path where they can, maybe branch off a little and start expanding.
But that takes vulnerability.
It does.
On anybody's part. I don't care who you are, to be willing to step forward and say, it's a story, it's not getting me anywhere, when it's been so built in to their being for so long, for everybody, whether you're coaching, whether it's obviously in life, because coaching is real life. It's just in a little bit of a different context. It's exactly the same.
Well, I think it's taking real life
I just get very passionate. Sorry about this.
She's really into this one. I think it's taking real life and twisting it just a touch and going, take a look at it this way, know? Or, as you say, holding up the mirror, and this is how I, as a coach, see it, and how you, as a client, see it. And maybe we can meet in the middle, or maybe you'll come over to my side, or maybe I'll come over to your side. But I think vulnerability, I know that's one of your favorite words too, and it's like, for me, I find that as a coach, I need to be vulnerable also.
Of course.
And always keep in mind that the results and the actions are where you want to go, because there are times when I just want to soothe and I just want to give the client what they need.
That's you.
She's much meaner than I am, much meaner. And I have to fight that. Terry doesn't, but and it's just like, so it's for me, I have to say, you know what, you got to be hard-nosed like Terry. And where does this person want to be?
Yeah.
What actions can they take to
Exactly.
change their whole perspective. And that's kind of where we are in this one with the designing of the actions. But so much, it's not just like you jump in and you go, oh, okay, I want to be clean for a day. No, this is a progressive thing where you've worked on it, and you've both been vulnerable. And hopefully, you're ready to take different actions.
Right.
Like Terry says, not the same thing over and over and not doing it, or like Dennis Weaver said.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing also is they've been taking actions all along. It's not as if it's being sprung on them in this particular, situation. They've been doing actions. And I think this is a place also to acknowledge them for what they've done, for where they've come. Paper
quotes are going all over the place.
Where they've come, and these core competencies, we've been doing them in order, but they don't follow any kind of a direct path at all.
Yeah.
So
if you find an aha moment, you're going to follow it, no matter what core competency you're working on. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just points, but as I think Stephen Covey, again, obviously I'm rereading his book, has a great metaphor. You can climb the ladder, but you got to make sure the ladder's on the right wall, and that could be you're taking those actions, but it could be, as Dennis Weaver says, you're not getting what you want, so stop doing it and move to another wall.
Exactly, exactly. That's so true.
And coaches can kind of show you what are the walls that are available, and help you discover whatever is available.
And what is ongoing learning? What does it mean for the client that they come up with, okay, I see this, I'll do it here, but it doesn't end there. This is a lifelong commitment to moving in the direction you want to go. That it's constantly looking for opportunities to help solidify, if you will, some of what you've learned.
Yeah.
So it's like, exercising. You don't get to flex a muscle unless you do it once and say, wow, this is great.
I'm done.
But no, every day it's getting back with the weight and flexing the muscle until it strengthens.
Yeah, and a good point is because that's part of the whole process is giving the client the tools, letting them discover what they have, what tools they can use, so that they can continue to do it and create habits and create whatever it is. But that's part of the whole process too, uncovering, okay, what do you want to do and what tools do you have?
Exactly.
And that's sort of part of it too. It's like, well, what resources do you have? What obstacles are you going to come up with, and giving them or helping them discover what tools they have within themselves
and learn some new skills, which I call tools for their toolkit. It's always building on that toolkit and what you have available, what you're learning, how to maximize all of these strengths that you have, which are part of the toolkit, and maybe even start minimizing some of your challenges.
And also be, and not only strengths. I mean, certainly you have to take into account your weaknesses. It's like,
challenges is my word.
Okay, challenges. Yes, that's a very coachy word
to me. But I find the word weakness to me is almost something you can't
self-defeating.
Exactly.
I find it. I guess I find it a challenge. It's like, okay, how can I reinforce this, or is it a good weakness, or do I need to just get rid of it? But whatever you call it, it's the same thing, and hopefully that's all a part of the actions that you want to take. And I don't know. Do you have when people are deciding actions? Do you have questions that help them, that get them there?
So. When we're coming to the end of the session, I might say a couple of things. Is this a good place to stop? Or do you have anything else? Or is this a good place to stop? And what might some of your takeaways be for what you've learned today?
Creating awareness, great.
And then they invariably might come up with their own action plans, which is, I think, the goal. to have them come up with
yeah,
it rather
yeah.
than, or strategizing and saying, so, what might you do to help forward the action and deepen the learning?
Right. Or what? Just
right.
simply, what are your next steps?
Right. Or what are your next steps?
But I like the fact that you asked first. It's like, what are your takeaways?
Right.
What did you take away? What are you feeling about? How do you feel about this? How complete are we with accomplishing your goal? And then it's like, okay, so what's your next step?
Right.
Yeah, and
Right.
it just seems like a logical sequence there. But first, it's not. I'd like to think that you can jump in and go, I'll use losing weight as an example. You can jump in and go, I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
You do that all the time.
All
use
the
that
time.
example.
Once a week, yeah. And yet, if I haven't taken all the work that goes ahead of that, then I'm just going to keep doing the same thing over and over.
Exactly.
I can't do this.
Right.
So, but it's so hopefully, there may be some people who can jump in and go, okay, I'm going to go get a master's degree, and bing, they do it,
Right.
But what really the coach helps you do is change your behavior.
Exactly.
Change your behavior, change your perspective, become aware of what qualities you do have that can get you where you want to go.
Exactly.
And maybe even before they do that is helping you really clarify your goal. Is your goal realistic, and is it something,
Right.
can it be obtained, and is it really what you want? Because a
Right.
lot of people go, I hate my job, I want to quit. And then you start realizing really what they don't
Right.
like is their new supervisor.
Right,
Or,
exactly.
And so it just
Yeah,
gets so
right.
complex and builds
Right.
and builds and builds. Yeah.
Yep. So it's, part of our responsibility is to help them clarify what they want, what are the results they want. What I say is, okay, you're here, this is where you want to go, and the coaching is in the middle.
Right,
How are you going to
right.
get there? Well, what are you going to do? What's it going to take?
What issues or do need to be addressed to resolve
Right.
before you can get there? And
Right.
usually the client's going to know that. They may not want to admit it, but it's like, you know what I need to really deal with.
Right. And again, this comes back to trusting the environment, trusting that they can step into the space the coach has created and do all of this really unpackaging, complex, challenging, sometimes scary, vulnerable work.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting. We don't want to get you scared, but it's
about change.
Change. That's
Yeah.
the magic word that nobody wants to
Yeah.
do, but everybody wants it.
Right.
I want change, but I don't want to change.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, and hopefully, when we go back to results, all of the work that you've done. With a coach, with a qualified coach, or even on your own, but with a coach will get you results that you were looking for after you've done the work. Because it could be, like I said, that you have different results. In the beginning, it's like, oh, here's what I really want to do, and by the time you realize, it may go deeper. It may be. It may be something really life-altering, and as opposed to just the I like to call it the symptom, not the source.
Right.
And a coach will help you get there. A coach will help you. Will hold your hand. Well, not Terry. I'll hold your hand.
I
No,
will,
you
but
yeah.
not in a way that's going to enable them,
Right,
Or
right.
buy into the. If you want to be sympathetic and soothe them, then you've bought into their story.
Right. So, but no, they'll guide you. They'll guide you along
Right.
with questions and stuff, and
Right.
and also, like you said, create the space so that
Right.
the really optimal learning and awareness can take place.
Right.
So, it's a journey, but I like to make it fun. I like
Yes.
to, yeah.
Right. There's always, metaphors, laughter, things that can
Yeah.
kind of make them feel there's a little lightness going
Yeah,
on.
oh,
It's not all that
definitely.
heavy.
Yeah, my tagline is changing your life is important business, but that doesn't mean you can't have fun.
No.
Why not have fun while you're doing
Exactly.
it, and the
Exactly.
challenge of learning new things and the challenge of I remember going through coaching school. It was like I thought I knew everything after the first
right.
module, and the second one was like I don't know anything.
Right,
This is
yeah.
amazing. And then I said embrace it, because that's the joy of a coaching career, I think, because you're always learning. You're always learning. Even when you when you coach someone, you're coaching yourself at the same time.
Of course.
And it's like, oh, I do that too.
We got one. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
One
more
I
quote.
got actually my last one, which I'll save for the end. But results allow us to know where we stand in relation to the target we had set. Pause, take a look, make amends if need be, and then move forward. And that was by Yaron Golan, who was an Israeli publisher.
Okay. All right.
So it's, it's about, if you're looking for results, where are you in relation to where you started, what you wanted, where you set for yourself, really looking at it and shifting a little bit, like you said.
Yeah.
And then moving forward.
Enhancing. That's interesting. I'm dying to know where you got that quote, and I'll ask her offline. But Yaron Golan,
I got it right there.
Is the person who developed it.
I thought so.
It sounded like familiar, right?
I thought
he
so.
And
Okay.
Efrat Shani are the people who develop points of view,
Right.
so it's perfect that we use one of his quotes. Yeah. And it's always good to reflect. It's always good to pause and just say, am I where? And or if you're feeling that little tinge of like, oh, something's not right, it's okay. It's good that you are going to take a look at that and see. You could be wrong, and you could be, oh yeah, I forgot to do this. So I do that a lot. It's like, oh yeah, I was going to.
So here's the other side of the coin.
Okay.
And this is anonymous, and I love it because this really sums up a lot. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get with the work you didn't do.
I like that.
And that's in life, as well as if we have a client that doesn't do the work, and then they say, well, you didn't do the work.
I'm not going to get it. Coaches are not worth it. They're not doing anything.
You didn't do the work.
It's a
How many
partnership.
times do we do that in our life, where we've got to do something and we don't do it, and you sit there and say, I don't understand. Well, you didn't put the effort in. What do you expect?
Exactly.
So that's actually my new favorite.
Your new favorite one.
Right.
And I would challenge anybody who's listening to go, okay, think of a relationship. It could be with a person. It could be with your job. It could be with an organization. That just isn't working. And use that quote. Do it one more time because it's really a cool quote.
Yeah. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get with the work you didn't do.
Ask yourself that question. It's like, did I really put the effort in, or have I put a lot of effort into complaining and even trying to figure out what's going on,
coming up with a story as to why you didn't do it.
Excellent.
That'll be your backup. I didn't do it. I didn't, and
excuse
and
or
then at the
blaming
end,
someone else.
Yeah,
I was going to do it, but
get
she
what I
didn't.
wanted out of it.
Exactly. So we're gonna end on that one because that's such a cool quote.
Oh, I know. Think about that.
Yeah, think about it
in your life.
Where could you put in more effort? Yeah,
right.
Where could you put in more effort? All right, we're out of time,
Almost out of time.
And we will be back in November, and we got 2 more to go, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. So
thank you
for
very
joining
much.
the coaching
Thank
game.
you.
Bye bye.